It's us against the world. Welcome to the Melbourne World Challenge.
Welcome to Albert Park, where this time last week it was the Formula One cars with thousands of horsepower going round to open up their season. Today it is more about people power. A very big hello to you. Lakeside Stadium's where we're at for the IAAF Melbourne World Challenge, and there is a glittering array of stars. It's the first leg of a global series, and Melinda Gainsford-Taylor is with me to have a look at today's action. And Mel, we've got 4 world champions out of Russia. We've got 2 Olympic champs. It is a star-studded field.
Look, it's going to be an incredible night. It's also great for our Australian athletes as well, because they're trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games, and to have this sort of calibre athlete to compete against should hopefully make that happen.
Let's have a look at some of the action ahead, and we start with Sally Pearson, our golden girl in the 100 hurdles.
Yes, well, Sally had a fantastic run in Perth, ran incredibly fast at 12:59. She wanted to beat that tonight. And of course, the men's 110 metre hurdles, where we got David Oliver here, world champion, up against Sam Baines and Nick Hoff.
Men's 100, some great local talent.
Yeah, and Tim Leithart ran so well in Sydney. He'd been wanting to do that and get very close to that A qualifier.
We've got the women's and the men's 800 metres as well.
We're very lucky because we've got Eustace Sum, who's here against Georgia Wassell, who ran so well in Sydney, and hopefully we'll get another Commonwealth Games qualifier.
The women's 100 metres, that is looming as a star-studded encounter between 2 queens of the track.
I know, we're all trying to create a rivalry here, and so we should, because that's going to finish off the night wonderfully.
And the men's 400 as well, some great international talent there.
Yeah, LaShawn Merritt, Olympic champion, and what a wonderful way for our Australian crowd to enjoy athletics.
Okay, so that's the track covered. Let's have a look at the field as well. David Colbert is with me, and Colby, the Commonwealth Games are looming large for a lot of our athletes at this time of year.
Absolutely, and we're going to start off with the men's and women's discus. Of course, Big Ben Harradine's looking to strike a blow early in 2014. He's only had one competition at the Queensland Championships, but he's been in great form, and he, of course, is the defending champion of the Commonwealth Games. Danny Semmel's missed Delhi. Remember, she had the controversy in the lead-up and decided not to go, so she'd love to get to Glasgow and win that gold medal. It's a missing piece of her collection at the moment. The women's javelin's the Kath and Kim show. Of course, Kim Mickle is fantastic at the World Championships last year. She won the silver medal there, and Catherine Mitchell is also in good form, so we're looking forward to that one.
And I know there's some real excitement about the up-and-comers in the high jump.
Well, Eleanor Patterson's a tremendous talent. Teenager from Victoria. She's been in great form. 1.96 is her best, just 2 centimetres off the Australian record. So looking forward to that. And we finish off with the Kiwi Colossus, Valerie Adams, who's got everything. She's won the World Championships, the World Indoors, the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, etc. Her trophy cabinet Koza is shinier than my forehead.
And your forehead is like a second sun at the moment, Colbert, but we look forward to listening to you in commentary as well. Dave Colbert, time now to go upstairs and join Peter Donegan.
Thank you, Koza. Here we go with the appearance of Sally Pearson. And of course, it's just a matter of how far she wins by, but we're keeping an eye on the very colourful Shannon McCann in lane number 4 as well. Michelle Janicki in lane 6. Off they go. Pearson got off to a very good start, as you'd expect, and is already commanding the race. McCann is hurdling pretty well, and Janicki's also going well, but it's a matter of looking at the time for Sally. She looks pretty clean and into a headwind. She runs 12.83, very close for second between McCann and Janicki. But Sally Pearson, just as you'd expect her to do, just way too classy, the Olympic champion.
Here you can just see the explosive start that Sally gets over the first hurdle and then the second. And Michelle Janicki's doing very well there, but this is just where she excels. She just puts the foot down so fast in between the hurdles, holds the form, and then Shannon McCann came through with that second position.
Yeah, here's the Adidas replay looking at head on, and here is an indicator of just how clean Sally always is.
She's such a beautiful technician. Just see her clearing that hurdle, just so close to it, and what a wonderful way to start this meet.
Sally Pearson's time then 12.83 into a slight headwind. It certainly looks a little bit more than that when you look at the flags trackside. Shannon McCann with the dip getting second in 13.24. Michelle Janicki third in 13.28, but the Olympic champion way too good in the 100 metres hurdles.
Sally, take us through the race from your point of view.
Oh, it was pretty rusty there. Been working on the 60 metre hurdles distance, so the start was a bit fast, but it doesn't matter. You can't complain about those sort of things. Got through the race as best as I could and look forward to the 100.
Lakeside Stadium's terrific though to come and run at.
Without the headwinds, yeah, the crowd's always good, but the headwinds for sprinters isn't always the best. I mean, it says a 0.2, but it's definitely bigger than that. But, you know, it's always nice to come here and race on Australian soil.
One of the highlights of the night coming up now, the appearance of the world champion David Oliver in the men's 110 metres hurdles. So impressive in Sydney. And that is one big unit, as we've said. That is a very impressive physical specimen, and the way he gets over the hurdles is pretty much along the same lines, and he will win this and win it comfortably. It's going to be Nick Huff, the man on the outside of him in white, who is possibly the other one of the contenders, Mel.
Yes, unfortunately, Sam Baines has to have pulled out of the race because of a hamstring.
Down on their blocks for the start of the men's 110 metres hurdles. Oliver in the middle lane, Huff in white, one closer. The other American, Joel Brown, going out of lane number 7. Oliver just walked out of the blocks. Huff got probably a metre on him early on, but it didn't take long for the world champion to blow by him. And look what he's able to do. It looked as though he was half asleep coming out of the blocks, David Oliver, but he's going to beat Huff, and third very close. Possibly Burstow out wide has run third. That was an amazing start for all of the wrong reasons.
Yeah, just looking in there, he's looking very surprised at what actually happened. You know, possibility, and we'll see it in a second at the Adidas replay. I don't think he probably heard the set position. Well, that's what it looked like, and he virtually stepped out of the blocks. As you can see here, he's hardly into set, then go, and he just hasn't got any drive whatsoever and has to fight incredibly hard. And Nick Hoff got a great start.
But the funny thing was, after that start, he was in front by the time they jumped the third hurdle.
Well, it just goes to show what sort of an athlete he is, you know, the world champion that he is. And he didn't give up on it at all. He just kept on fighting through with it. And you can see here he's thinking, I really need to fight for this now, trying to hold my form and, you know, mentally being able to do that as well. And, you know, he comes here, he wants to give a good show to the crowd, and well done to him too, and especially finishing that well.
Well, even after a start where he couldn't go on the B of the beep, David Oliver was still too good. 13.57. Nick Huff of Australia. Good solid performance, 13.93. And a very good run from John Burstow on the outside lane to get third in 14.28.
Tell us about the start. What happened at the start?
I wasn't sure, you know, about the gun, so it was kind of like I just kind of stepped out, and then I was like, oh, okay, and, you know, just ran. You know, it's unfortunate I wasn't able to, you know, do what I was supposed to do, but, you know, I didn't panic, just stayed in there, and, you know, was able to get a good win here. You know, the conditions aren't the greatest in the world, but, man, it was great to be here. I love coming to Australia. I just finished my favorite part of the meet, doing the victory lap, so I'm very happy.
Coming up from the IAAF Melbourne World Challenge, the men's 100 metres, and world champion Eunice Sum in the women's 800. Great to have your company at the IAAF Melbourne World Challenge from Lakeside Stadium at Albert Park. Very even field coming up in the men's 100. Tim Leithart in lane 5. Mel, so impressive last week in Sydney.
Especially coming back from injury, and ran a fantastic time, very close to his PB. Unfortunately, with the conditions tonight, may not be running as fast, but needs a good run under his belt.
And there is the start list. Leithart in 5 and the Jamaican Mario Forsyth in lane 4, the men to watch. Leithart in the orange, 4th on the right-hand side. Forsyth over on the far side of him.
Set.
Off now, Leithart's start only fair. He's beginning to drive into his work now. Gamble and Forsyth going well, and in lane 2, Joel B also going well. Leithart trying to come through, but it's going to be Tom Gamble on the outside, the 22-year-old from Queensland, who's run 10.42, and if that is the time that is equal to his personal best, very strong performance. Leithart just a little sluggish out of the blocks, and he was playing catch-up after that.
Tom Gamble, you know, he knew that Leithart was coming up on his inside, and he didn't panic at all, as you can see here in the Adidas replay. He's taking off here, really in control, Tom Gamble, there in lane 6, and Tim Leithart's trying to fight for him, but boy, didn't Joel B. He was great up to the 60 metres, but this is where the race has to be decided, and he held his form incredibly well.
They shaved 100th off the time for Tom Gamble, so down to 10.41. That should be a PB for him. 300ths of a second over Tim Leithart, and Joel B getting into third placing in 10.50 in a keenly contested men's 100.
Tom, congratulations. Enormous time for you, equal PB.
Yeah, that's right. Both times I've run in sort of miserable conditions, so it's very positive for the season to come, Nationals in 2 weeks. So looking forward to that. I think mentally and emotionally, I'm probably in the best state of mind at the moment. I'm just loving running at the moment, just extremely happy, and I think that reflects my performance on the track recently. So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, come Games B qualifies just around the corner.
The state of mind's important though, because there was some high calibre coming at you right at the end. How did you keep it so smooth?
I think my transition and later part of the race is probably my biggest strength. So the biggest thing for me was just getting out with the boys, not so much in front, but at least equal. And I'm probably one of the tallest guys in that field, so my Australian's just going to, keep ticking over. So just got to make sure I just stick to my game plan and, get over the line first place. So, which I did tonight, which I'm very happy with.
Well done, Tom.
Thanks very much.
This is a fascinating race coming up. The women's 800 metres. We've got the world champion here in Eunice Sum from Kenya, the 25-year-old. But the lady behind her, Georgia Wassell, ran so well last week. Just 18 years of age. And Dave Colbert, there's a lot of upside about her.
Very impressive indeed. As we take a look at the start list for the women's 800 metres, Katsenavakis, Hetherington, Wassell, the three Australians that are going to try and challenge Eunice Sum, the world champion from Kenya, who was so impressive to win in Sydney.
On your marks.
So the world champion with a last-minute prayer. With her ability, she may not need it in the 800 metres. It'll be interesting to see just what sort of position she occupies early. Hetherington's going very quickly early on. Sum's just letting them stride. Katsenavakis is also going forward, and Georgia Wassell is trying to push her way through the middle. Now Sum, after easing herself around that first bend, is going to get up and settle in second position behind Morgan Mitchell as they come off the back straight the first time. She's got herself up into a good spot, although moving up on the outside now, Rosie Kelly gets up into second placing, but she just eased her way through the first 150, Dave Colbert.
Yeah, it's a big argy-bargy with Katsenavakis giving Wassell a big whack to the shoulder. Yeah, whack to the shoulder. I was looking for a polite way of saying it. No, there's another one. So she's had three goes, and Wassell's doing the right thing here. She got checked 3 or 4 times in Sydney and wants to be a little bit closer with 200 metres to go. So she's on the outside. She's in the right spot. But Katsenavakis has given her the 1-2.
She certainly has, and it's been willing in the first 400 metres. 60.85 the first lap. Wassell's been forced to cover ground. She's been out in lane 1 for most of the way, so she's got herself up into third place on the outside of Hetherington. Sum is second. Morgan Mitchell is going for home down the back straight. She's got a lead of about 4 metres, but you get the feeling she's going to be swallowed up pretty quickly here. They're just biding their time and waiting to go. Is Sum going to put the hammer down at the 200 metre mark? She's got Hetherington locked in on the inside and Wassell on the outside of her. And also running into the race is Brittany McGowan at the 200. So it's pretty keenly contested. Sum takes over. Wassell's the immediate challenger. McGowan's running on really strongly now. Gets up alongside Hetherington and gets up alongside the two leaders as well. This is a very keen tussle. Wassell coming off that great performance last week gets up to Sum. Hetherington's poking up on the plinth and battling on as McGowan. Sum's just got enough class to hold them off though. Wassell's run really bravely when you consider what she's had to put up with in the race, and Sum beats Wassell and Hetherington. In third place was Hetherington. Brittany McGowan in fourth place, 2:03. What an interesting 800 it was. It promised to be an entertaining race, and it certainly lived up to it. Eunice Sum, the world champion in 2:02.99, but really strong performances by Georgia Wassell, especially the youngster in second again in 2:03.23. Hetherington and McGowan just behind them. It was rough and tumble, but the world champion got it done in the women's 8.
Wow, Georgia, great run. Take us through the race.
Bit of a different race to Sydney. Actually quite messy, you probably saw out there. Very push and shove, so it's a bit scary for me. I'm not really used to that with juniors, so I kind of just tried to stay relaxed, and the pace was still quite slow, and so I felt pretty good in the third 200, and then coming into the last 200 had a little bit of a dig because I felt good at the pace wasn't that fast, and managed to hold on for second to the end, so it was good.
Coming up, our local boys take on American Dwayne Solomon in the men's 800, and Danny Samuels is in career best form in the discus. With you as the Australian Athletics Tour rolls into Melbourne for the IAAF Melbourne World Challenge. So many outstanding athletes here in Melbourne for the IAAF Melbourne Classic, and here is one of them, Dwayne Solomon, who ran in one of the greatest races ever run, the 800 metres final at the Olympic Games in London, where he finished fourth. He finished sixth in the World Championships last year, and he is certainly the man to beat. But what about the local hopes, Dave Colbert?
Here's the start list for that 800. Well, the local hopes probably rest with Jeff Risley here, Alex Rowe and Joshua Ralph, the man from New South Wales, Sydney University, who will start from lane number 7.
Solomon's personal best of 1:42.82. Off they go in the men's 8. Jeff Risley will use Solomon as a bit of a sighter in the first 100 metres before they cross. The man on the outside, Eddie Vining, is going to be the pacemaker here, and he's looking to take them through the first lap in 50.5 seconds. He's going to have his work cut out getting across in front of Solomon, who's made a brave statement early on.
Well, you mentioned the great 800 metre final in London that Solomon finished fourth in. The man who won that set a world record, David Rudisha, and he's the meet record holder here at 1:43.15. I'm not sure if they'll get to that sort of pace today, but Solomon's doing a good job of sticking on the pacemaker, and then right behind him, Rowe is exactly where you would want to be with Ralph and then Risley.
So that's the order as they come down to get the bell. 50.5 was the desired time from Eddie Vining. Let's see whether he's been able to achieve that or not. Just about spot on. 50.69. So the pacemaker's done a good job. He'll peel off in a moment and get out of their way and leave Dwayne Solomon to do his job down the back straight. Rowe gets up into second. They're broken away from Ralph. Risley is back in fourth place, and Jared West is fifth as they head down the back, but there's no catching Dwayne Solomon.
Well, Risley, who's back in fourth place at the moment, is a fast finisher, so he's not out of it in terms of the battle of the Australians, but Solomon's going to be very, very difficult to beat. He was strong over the last 200 metres in Sydney, and he stretches away here.
And he looks like a class athlete, gliding across the ground, a bit like David Rudisha did, the man who won that famous race that Dave Colbert was talking about in London. He's got an upright running style. It's not unlike Michael Johnson in some ways, the great 400 and 200 runner of days gone by. Solomon clear in the straight. Ralph's got to second. Risley's finishing well, looking for second place, but Solomon quite comfortably in the end in just a tick over 1:45. It's Ralph in second, Risley in third, and Alex Rowe finishes in fourth place in the men's 800. All sorts of reasons to be happy about the men's 800. Dwayne Solomon's performance in 1:45.17, class athlete that he is, but an A Commonwealth Games qualifier for both Josh Ralph and Jeff Risley in second and third placings. So it was a very productive men's 800.
We'll start with the winner. Congratulations. You must be loving your time here at the moment.
Oh yeah, it feels good. I felt a lot better than last week. So, I'm able to wake up at a decent time now, and, I felt, really good today.
They pushed you all the way, though, the local boys?
Yeah, they're good out here. You can't sleep on anybody out here. So, I knew I was going to have a hard race on my hands, and I just had to come with my best game.
And you certainly brought your best game as well. Congratulations. Take us through the race from your point of view.
Yeah, thank you. Heard the pace is going to be fast, so I was like, good, it's often a bit windy here, but it's really good. So I was comfy through the bell and felt like I really could attack on the back straight, and then sit in top bend and came home hard. I executed my race plan exactly how I wanted to.
Women's discus, and there's the star of the show, Dani Samuels, the world champion from 2009. She's been in great form this year, approaching her lifetime best, 65.59 she threw already this season, and was up near that in Sydney. This is round one, and out over the 60-metre mark again. 59.50 is the Commonwealth Games A qualifying, and this is going to be past that. 61 metres 26 in the opening round. It's solid stuff. Round two for Samuels, 25 years of age now, but still young in terms of this event. She's got great technique, nice and strong and fast arm, and that one sails out as well, and that might be an improvement on the opening effort. So 61.26 in the opening round, 62.06, so edges towards the 63-metre mark. Round 5 of the women's discus competition, and it's been one-way traffic so far. Dani Samuels, a little low that time, but again the fast arm, and gets the platter sailing strongly. And that one is right out there, over the 63-metre mark, close to 64 for Dani Samuels. So that was the winning throw, 63 metres 89, and she is with Ian Cohen.
Danny, tell us about today's event, 63.89.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It did take a while to get going. I think at certain points there was a really strong tailwind, so a lot of the throwers had to kind of suss that out and get used to the conditions. But yeah, to walk away with a high 63, I'm pretty happy with.
Big Ben Harradine, and he is just going to reveal slowly that he knows his own name, and he is a character. We'll be watching him with great interest. Round 4, and Michael Vasopoulos of Victoria in action here. And this is a personal best of 53 metres 62 for the 22-year-old from Victoria. It was his birthday yesterday, so he will celebrate with a new lifetime best. That is a very good effort. Here's Harradine. Commonwealth champion, won the title in Delhi and will go to Glasgow with very strong hopes. Just his second competition this season. And this one, a good effort in round 4, 61 metres 62. So that's his best so far. This is a very talented young man, Matthew Denny from Queensland, just 17 years of age. He won the World Youth Championships last year. He'll be headed for the World Junior Championships in Oregon later in the year, which is right up against the Commonwealth Games, and a lot of these talented young athletes have got to make the choice. Denny, 56.84. That's his personal best. Final attempt now for Harradine. He fouled in round 5. He'd like to improve here if he can. Out it goes. It's a big throw. And so that was his best throw. 63 metres 59. Harradine leads ahead of Denny and Loveridge. Vasopoulos, a personal best in 4th spot.
Ben, take us through the throws from your point of view.
It was an average comp for me. I mean, I'm working on a few things now just to solidify my technique to make it a dramatic change for the year. And, you know, as they go, like the fellas, we're not so great at dancing, so we just need to reiterate things over and over. And the first 5 rounds of my comp was a bit of a highlight to what I've been changing in my technique.
Men's long jump, and it's great to see Henry Frayne back, almost 18 months out. He made the Olympic final in this event in London, and also competed in the triple jump there, but he's had injury problems, and it's great to see him back. He's already jumped 8.06 in the first round here. Nice little tailwind and good leap from Henry Frayne, who's come back after the long layoff, and he is in business. 8.10's a Commonwealth A qualifier.
After the break, it's Pearson versus Breen over 100 metres, and Kim Mickle has her eyes set on breaking the national record in the javelin.
Ready, guys? Okay, go for it.
We're here at the IAAF Nestlé Healthy Active Kids Zone, where you can see loads of kids who are taking advantage of this fantastic opportunity to get active.
Everyone go high to the camera. Ready? Ready? 1, 2,
The IAAF Nestlé Healthy Active Kids Zone is just one initiative from a partnership between Nestlé Australia and IAAF, and are working together in over 80 countries around the world to help kids live healthy, active lives. In Australia, they've also teamed up to create the IAAF Nestlé Healthy Kids Athletics program, which will be run through active after-school communities across the country.
What's been your favourite activity so far? Probably that one. That one. Yeah.
Of course, as well as exercise, the other side to staying healthy is to eat well. These fantastic portion plates show kids just how much of each type of food you need for a healthy dinner.
Veggies, carbs and protein. Get on it.
Nestlé has created a great new website for teachers and parents. For more information, check out www.healthyactivekids.com.au.
So then to probably the most anticipated race of the night, the women's 100 metres and the rematch here between Melissa Breen and Sally Pearson. There's the national record holder, 11.11, but Sally Pearson had the better of her in Sydney last week, Mel.
And we keep on talking about this rivalry because we love it, and everyone here at Lakeside Stadium in the crowd has been waiting for this particular event. And it was interesting in Sydney with Mel Breen. She didn't run as fast as she's been running, but because the pressure of being an Australian record is all the difference. But on her outside, in lane 5, Sally Pearson. And let's look at lane 3, Natasha Hastings as well from the USA.
Yeah, she's got an 11.24 to her credit. So a big field, but all of the interest in lanes 3, 4 and 5. Pearson and Breen got away simultaneously. Hastings' start was okay. Whistle away all right. Pearson's got the lead at halfway. Breen can't get her at the moment. Hastings sticking on for third, but Sally dominates again and wins easily from Breen and Hastings. 11.36 on a cool night. And a bit of a fluky win. They actually had a tailwind there of 1 metre per second, but Sally did what she did in Sydney. She dominated the race. What a dominant performance it was by the Olympic 100 metre hurdles champion Sally Pearson, commanding the race from halfway to win in 11.34. Not bad for the conditions. Melissa Breen 11.45, Natasha Hastings 11.51, almost a personal best for Ashley Whittaker in fourth in 11.56. So it was a strong edition of the women's 100.
Sally, congratulations. You talked about the conditions, said they were a little bit tough. How did you find that?
It was a bit better in the 100. I think the wind had turned around a little bit, but yeah, getting up after a couple of weeks of travelling and competing, it's a bit tiring, but no, I'll take the win. Obviously, it's nice to win over Mel, the Australian record holder, and try and keep ahead of her as much as I can, as she would want to do with me as well. So we're great competitors and really great friends, but at the same time, when we're on the track, we're competitors as well.
Mel, you just had an awesome 6 or 8 months, and now Sally's obviously really making you work pretty hard for everything.
Sal's an amazing competitor, and that's something that I have to learn. And if I could be half as a competitor as she is, I'd be very happy. It's wonderful each week to practice against her. She's one of the best starters in the world, so I'm really lucky that I've got that. But I'm a bit close in Sydney, so give me another couple of weeks and bring on nationals in a few weeks' time back here.
Women's javelin in Moscow last year at the World Championships. It was the Kath and Kim show for Australia. Catherine Mitchell being introduced there, finished in 5th spot, and Kim Mickle, fantastic silver medal. They're closing in on the Australian record. They're two of the world's best exponents of the javelin, and we're joined by Kelsey Lee Roberts too from the ACT, who's got an A qualifier this season. Catherine Mitchell in round 3, some strong throwing already over the 60 metre mark, and it's a good throw in round 3, 62 metres 58, which is well in excess of the A standard. They've comfortably got that. It's one of the few events where we've got 3 already that have qualified. Here's Mickle. Third attempt, this is a big one, hits it hard, flies out there, it's a huge throw. Well, this is going to endanger that Australian record of Louise McPaul, which is 66 metres 80 is the distance. She likes the look of it. 66.83, that is a new Australian record for Kim Mickle. Well, that is a wonderful throw. Can Mitchell respond? Had a great competition in Adelaide, just a couple of centimetres separated them, and that's another big throw. It's not going to be the 66.83, but it is still out there. 66.83 from Mickle, and Mitchell's throw there, 63 metres 64. So there is the new Australian record holder. What a moment for Kim Mickle. Australian record ahead of Mitchell and Roberts. Let's go to Koza with Kath and Kim.
Kim, start with you. Fantastic night. Take us through it.
Yeah, unbelievable. I've had this record in my sights for so long, and once I heard the 66 mark, I thought, oh no, it's going to come a bit shy of it. But yeah, when I heard the 8 come up, I just knew it, and it was just the most incredible feeling. Like I said, it's been a dream of mine, so to finally have it is the best feeling in the world.
Women's high jump, and this is one of the young stars of Australian athletics. Write her name down, ladies and gentlemen. Eleanor Patterson from Victoria, just 2 centimetres off the Australian record this year. 17 years of age from Gippsland in Victoria, and that's a strong clearance at 1.83 metre. Lead the Commonwealth rankings last year, and it's going to be huge hope for both the World Juniors and the Commonwealth Games if she can squeeze them both in. And a joy of Queensland. She's one of a group of 5 that have got the Commonwealth Games B qualifier, and she goes clear. Bar up now to 1.86 metre. Patterson has got the exaggerated arm action. She's not that tall, but she's very fast on the runway, and has got some springs in the shoes. Second attempt at 1.92 metre. Up she goes, and she goes clear. So that is a very strong effort. It's the Commonwealth Games A standard. It's another one for Patterson, who wins the high jump in the A qualifier ahead of McDermott and Joy, who both score the B in the women's high jump.
Eleanor, how were conditions tonight? A little bit of wind around, or was it a bit tricky?
Yeah, it was a bit cold, but the wind wasn't too bad. But it would have been ideal to have a bit warmer, but that's fine. It was good, pretty good conditions overall.
Coming up, a world-class field contests the women's 1500, and it's the great Valerie Adams in the women's shot put. You're watching the action from Lakeside Stadium, Albert Park in Melbourne. This is the women's 3,000 metre steeplechase. Victoria Mitchell and Rosa Flanagan fighting it out as they came to the water jump in the last lap. And that is what happened. Victoria Mitchell doing a 2.5 with Pike straight into the water jump. And all of a sudden, Rosa Flanagan found herself with a very long advantage, Dave Colbert. But look what happened next.
Unbelievable. I know that you know a lot about diving, Peter, and a lot of splashes a bad sign.
Yeah,
but she got up and charged home, and that's very, very impressive.
She did get a 5 from the Russian judge, but she got a perfect 10 for her effort in the straight. And Victoria Mitchell coming away a remarkable victory over Rosa Flanagan in a spectacular women's 3,000 metre steeplechase. And the look on her face said it all. Let's have another look at it. Her foot just did not get to the top of the jump, and that could have been very nasty, as much as we're making light of it. Yeah, she was lucky that she really didn't hurt herself, but that is courage. Getting up, being spurred on, and claiming the victory. Another very strong field coming up, this time in the women's 1500. The lady on the left of your picture there, Mercy Chirono of Kenya, the 22-year-old. Impressive in winning the 5K in Sydney last week. Beside her, Australian Olympian Zoe Buckman, but there are a few others as well, Dave Colbert, including Kayla McKnight, Lucy Van Dalen of New Zealand is a 4:05 runner, and then you've got Susan Kuiken of the Netherlands thrown in there, and as I mentioned, Zoe Buckman, the Olympian from 2012 in London. So it's a very good field in the women's 1500 metres. Mercy Chirono probably the one to beat.
On your mark.
So the women's 1500 metres is underway. The pacemaker Bronte Gange will go from the outside and attempt to take them through in the first couple of laps in 65 seconds. Zoe Buckman's trapped out a little wide. She's 3 off as they make that first bend. No reason to panic yet. Let's have a look for Mercy Chirono. She's got herself up into the middle of the field, and she's starting to make a bit of a move, something she did in Sydney last week over a different distance, but the pacemaker, Bronte Gage, taking them through.
Well, Chirono's coming back in distance a lot here over the 1500 metres, given her credentials even at the World Cross Country, where she was the winner in 2010, silver medalist at the World Championships last year over 5,000 metres, and was so impressive in Sydney. And she is right where you want to be, just out of trouble. Buckman being knocked around a little bit, but she's also trying to stay out of trouble. The pacemaker doing a good job here.
Smart move by Anna Lehman there, because they were dawdling a bit behind her and they got themselves into a bit of a pack, and there could have easily been some push and shove, and Anna's gone around them and has got herself up into 4th place at the moment. Mercy Chirono sits up 2nd and 3rd on the outside of Camille Buscombe as they head into the back straight, and they've gone through the first lap in 69, almost 70.
Yeah, too slow. So just as I said, she was doing a good job. The pace went off a little bit, as you identified, as they came down towards the start-finish line the first time. The pace went right off. So it's a race now, which is not a bad thing. You know, you've got Mercy Chirono there, who's run 4:02, the Kenyan. So she's a very, very strong competitor indeed. And what we've got on our hands now is, unlike a time trial that you sometimes get, we've got a race, a championship-style race, which should suit Zoe Buckman because she's a good tactician.
Yeah, and she's made a really good tactical move there, Dave. She's got herself up into 3rd place, got herself away from any congestion that there may have been in the race. Gregson is now up to 4th. Over on the inside, it's Buscombe in 5th place. And that was the order now. We just have a look for the other runners making their way through and getting a long way back. Bridie Delaney's got only a couple behind her as they head inside 2 laps in the 1500.
And Kayla McKnight would want to move up a little bit as well. She's just behind Duncan in the bright yellow top. So one of the things about Zoe Buckman is that she doesn't like to get off the paint. She likes to be on the inside the whole time, which when they bunch up with 200 metres to go can sometimes cause a bit of problems. At the World Championships last year, she managed to find a way through on each occasion, and she's moved right up now onto the tail of Chirono, which is a good move. Just a little acceleration from Buckman to be in touch
Melissa Duncan is back in third place at the moment, and now Kayla McKnight has got herself up into fourth, and she'll be challenging for third. Buckman hanging on the back of Mercy Chirono. As it turns out, the pacemaker took them through in round about 68-second laps rather than 65-second laps. So the two in front, Chirono and Buckman, have got a nice little advantage over Duncan in third. McKnight is in fourth placing. Delaney is also starting to make a move now. Bridie Delaney, she was a long way back, and she's done very well to get herself up into third and challenging at the bell.
Yeah, they get the welcome sound of the bell, and this is going to be interesting because Chirono's got the strength and Buckman's got the speed. One ran the 5,000 metres in Sydney, the other one ran the 800 metres in Sydney. So we're coming together over the 1,500 metre distance, and what can Buckman do? She won't go too early. Delaney looks like she's fighting with everything to hang on in third spot.
Delaney about 3 metres off the lead. Buckman 7th in the World Championships last year. Chirono with that beautiful floating action down the back straight. Always hard to tell just how much she's got left in the tank because she looks so fluid. Even when she might be struggling a bit, Buckman is going to have to peel out. Now she does, and she's attempting to make ground. And in third place, Delaney just trying to hang on. They've got just over 100 metres to go. It's going to take a super effort for Zoe Buckman to get past Chirono. She looks strong at the top of the lane. Buckman's trying to peel out and trying to make up that metre, but it's growing. It's gone out to 3 metres, out to 4 metres, and Chirono sprints away over the last little bit. And class tells as the Kenyan wins easily. Chirono beats Buckman. Delaney in third placing, and sprinting home to get fourth is Melissa Duncan. And it was the result that we probably expected in the women's 1500. That was a really keen race, but Mercy Chirono just stretching it out at the end and running away to win comfortably from Zoe Buckman, and Bridie Delaney sticking on for third. Melissa Duncan sprinting home for fourth. The winner's time 4:08.57 in the 1500 for women.
Mercy, congratulations. You must be really enjoying your time here in Australia.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back in Australia again and to win, to be number one again. I thank God because of that.
Up next, the much anticipated 400 metres featuring world champion LaShawn Merritt, and we return to the shot put and one of New Zealand's finest ever sports people, Valerie Adams.
Welcome back to the IAAF Melbourne World Challenge, Lakeside Stadium, and this is one of the most credentialed athletes in world athletics. Valerie Adams from New Zealand, Olympic champion, world champion, Commonwealth champion, world indoor champion, most of those on more than one occasion. Not happy with this opening throw. It's a foul for the Kiwi Colossus. Holds the meet record here. Such a perfect physique for throwing the orb. Second round. Down nice and low. Likes this one. Hit it pretty hard. Gives it a stare, and even the ball is scared. Not overly excited, but still a victory for Valerie Adams. 19 metres 68 in the women's shot put.
Valerie, great to have you here, obviously, at Lakeside. Tell us about tonight for you.
It's the worst competition I've had for a long time, but you know, a win's a win. It's my 45th consecutive win tonight, and I'm pretty happy to be here. You know, all in all, it's pretty much to support athletics within the Oceania region, and to be here with, you know, a fantastic crowd is great.
Maybe we're saving the best till last here in Melbourne. LaShawn Merritt headlining the 400 metres field, the dual world champion, the Olympic champion. But up against him is a man that we know very well. Well, we know him. Maybe the gate attendant at the track didn't know him, Mel. John Stephenson didn't have his pass. They weren't going to let him onto the track.
It's great to see John Stephenson back. We saw him run the 800 metres in Sydney, and tonight we'll get to see him the 400. Let's not forget also Dylan Grant in lane 3 and also Craig Burns in lane 5.
Off they go. Merritt eased his way out of the block, so reading from the outside, it's Douglas, Stone, Watkins, Burns going hard early. Merritt biding his time as they go down the back straight. Has left Grant for dead, though. Stephenson has kept his stagger, and Lawson Matthews back at the tail. He's easing his way down the back straight, LaShawn Merritt, because the move has come from Burns, but now Merritt has got him in his sights as they come off the back straight. John Stephenson still a long way back. LaShawn Merritt moves up quickly, gets up alongside Burns as they enter the lane with 100 metres left to go, and he'll just cruise away now. Running well is Dylan Grant in lane 3, and Stephenson starting to get it going over the last little bit, but look at him open up. He's having a look at the big screen and checking out his form, and I can tell him his form's pretty good. LaShawn Merritt wins. Stephenson flew home and gets himself up into the mix with Burns for second placing, 46.33. He is all class, that man. It was quality all the way here in Melbourne tonight, and one of the very best, LaShawn Merritt, with a very convincing victory, ran a smart race, didn't have to panic, just got it done in 46.32. John Stephenson's finishing effort, very good and very promising, 47.18, and Craig Burns only 0.04 of a second away in third place in the men's 4.
LaShawn, yeah, you're still watching it on the replay. You were watching it on the big screen as you were coming down the track.
Yeah, it was a little windy. Not the best conditions here. It's early, so I didn't want to push it too much and anything happened. So I just wanted to finish up strong and get the win.
Steph, for you, you had to mow him down at the end to get that second position.
Yeah, I kind of knew going into the race that, the back end will be kind of strong and having a lot of speed work, but no excuses. It's just a privilege. I've run with LaShawn for 10 years and it's 1-1 now in Australia. And he's just an absolute gentleman. And he put on a clinic out here for running, and all the kids that watched and all the other athletes that watched can see a guy that is a quarter-mile master.
What a fantastic evening we've had here at Albert Park, and Mel, I suppose statistically the star of the show, Kim Mickle, an Australian record. You've held them, you know what it's like. Kim Mickle's now got her own.
And what a big deal it is. Louise Curry actually said it in 2000, and there she is. What a great personality, and no one deserves it more than Kim Mickle.
It was a marvellous throw for her, 66.83, a terrific effort. And we've had A qualifiers as well, leading in towards the Commonwealth Games.
And that is what's so important. So tonight our new A qualifiers were Joshua Ralph, Jeff Risley, Henry Frayne, to see him back in the long jump, jumping 8.10. And that's just to name a few. So very exciting for a lot of athletes. Some other athletes, because the conditions, couldn't quite do it tonight, but hopefully when we come around to the Commonwealth Games trials, we'll get a lot more.
And that's only 2 weeks away. Of course, we're going to be back here at Albert Park, Lakeside, for the Australian Athletics Championships, Commonwealth Games selection trials. So if you want a trip to Scotland, that's where you need to perform. Lakeside Stadium right here in Melbourne, ticketmaster.com.au. And you can tell, you know what that nervous energy is like in the lead up to the opportunity to wear green and gold, Mel.
Look, it is the business end of the season, and it's very simple, because if you win the trial and you have a Commonwealth Games qualifier, you are off to Glasgow.
It's as simple as that. We'll be back here in 2 weeks' time. We look forward to your company then.